Hi guys, Jeff Westfall here. I want to show you several manipulation patterns today. They are connected in that you can flow from one to the next without breaking your rotational momentum, thus your fluidity. The first one I want to show you is one that's really commonly practiced, and that's an upward figure eight. I don't like to use the term figure eight myself because that describes a slice in two-dimensional space of what's really happening. In reality, my weapon is describing cone-shaped areas of space if you were to sort of look at the whole length of the weapon and see what it's doing. So it's actually like an hourglass turned on its side when I do the upward figure eight. So I call this sometimes the horizontal hourglass. And in this case, it's the upward version. There's also a downward horizontal hourglass, but the downward one is not part of the four I'm showing you today. So that's the one that's easiest for most people. You've got the upward figure eight, right? Okay, and we also have one that's a vertical hourglass. And there are two vertical hourglasses too, but the one we're doing is what I call the forehand one. And that is where you've got a number one strike, if you're familiar with most Filipino martial arts, in there. And if you watch the path of my hand, it's vertical. Whereas on the upward figure eight, the path of my hand is mostly right to left more than up and down. Now to fit in between these two, in different ways, we have diagonal hourglasses. There's one that goes on what's traditionally referred to as the sun line. So this would be I prefer plane to line because combat happens in three dimensions. So this is the sun plane, as I call it. I'm confining my lever, in this case my blade, to the sun plane. And we have the moon plane. Now, there's also an hourglass whose long axis is on the sun plane, and there's another one whose long axis is on the moon plane, or what I call the lunar plane and the solar plane. So the lunar hourglass goes from upper left to lower right. There's a cone in each section of space. So the first one, my forehand is coming up vertically and my backhand's going horizontally. So you'll see there's a cone in my upper left quadrant and a cone in my lower right quadrant. And that flows right into my upward X. And then from there I can go into the solar hourglass by cutting horizontally with my forehand and vertically with my backhand. Now I'm going from the upper right quadrant to the lower left quadrant. Now if I, from there, go to a vertical hourglass, I've gone through the whole spectrum from left to right. Now I'll go from right to left. So I'm in the vertical hourglass, and I go back to the solar hourglass, forehand version. I go back to the upward X, or the upward figure eight, or the horizontal hourglass. And then I go into the lunar forehand hourglass. So I hope you find this useful and interesting. If it confuses you, maybe I can help you out. Drop me a line at rpmaa1@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to talk with you. Take care, enjoy, and keep training.